my walking shoes on. I can't tell you where I'm going, but I'm walking down this lonely road.
Hey guys, it's your girl Lini from Inner Beauty Out, and I'm so stoked to be recording a video today. It's been a real hot minute since I've been online, since I've created a video for you. And I know I sound horrible, but I knew that I had to be dedicated to actually making a video for you guys as soon as I had the opportunity to do so. And so here it is. I'm coming. Alright, no, I'm just kidding. No, I'm really happy and grateful to have the opportunity to create a video. You guys do not know how much it's just been in my heart to make one. I don't even want to go on YouTube, and because when I do, I feel like I should be one of the people creating videos. Isn't that horrible? I support my fellow YouTubers for sure. I love seeing, some of my friends on YouTube, or people that I like, people I think that are friends in my head. But, it's just it kind of tugs at my heart that I know I really want to do it, and I didn't have the chance to. So we're about to hash all of that out today in our very first video. And what I'm going to do for you is actually kind of tell you what has led me to not do videos for the time being. Hopefully I can get back on track and actually put out consistent videos moving forward. But I just kind of want to let you know what's up and let you know what my testimony has been over the past couple months. It's been a while. I think the last time I put one up was in April of this year. But there's a lot to share, and it's all for God's glory, and it's all for great things. It's all great. So if you want to hear more about me rambling about this whole year and how it's been, I promise it won't be rambling, but it will just be, it's my short version of a testimony and where God has taken me throughout this year, and how fast it just kind of happened. So if you want to hear more about it, stay tuned. Alright, we can start from the very beginning. I want to say it was December of 2013 that I kind of made a decision in my mind that I wanted to go to law school. And this is not something that I just woke up one day and was just I want to be a lawyer. I have been wanting to be a lawyer for quite some time. I can give you a little bit about the educational journey, or if you want to kind of see another video that kind of talks about applying to law school and stuff like that, you let me know. But just leave it down in the comments. But for the most part, I have been praying about it, and it's been it was weighing heavy on my heart because I've tried on multiple occasions to try to pass the exam, and not everyone are good exam takers, and not everyone performs well as far as that. But it doesn't determine your desire to do it. It doesn't determine how well you'll succeed in school. It doesn't speak to that level. It really just kind of weeds out in the process of people who really want to do this, or are they diligent enough to try again, or not. So for me, I had tried it and it didn't work out, and I kind of went into another journey in my life as far as getting into the workforce and the corporate world and things like that, and that's been fun for sure. But I had just made a decision because I'm every time I hear someone talk about law and law school and being an attorney, it just tugged at my heart. It just made me feel dang, that's what I should be doing. I still found the love, even though when I tried to do other things, I still felt like I needed to come back to that. That was my first love, so to speak. Why did I want to become one? I don't really have an epiphany, so to speak, that came to me that it was just oh, you got to be a lawyer, or I didn't have a dream or anything of that sort. But I knew it was something that I was interested in. And a lot of people I tell, when I really kind of discovered the field was watching the movie Legally Blonde. And I just felt like that movie was deeper than what it was in my perspective. And, she kind of defeated the odds of what people looked at her on the outside and kind of, thought or assumed about her because of the way that she looked and the way that she carried herself. But then she later on, as rising from as an underdog to really surprising a lot of people with her intellect and her drive and her motivation and seeing past wanting to be in a relationship to really, a career in law, and actually ended up meeting her love of her life. So if you haven't seen Legally Blonde, which I'm sure everyone and their mom has, check it out. It's a really cute movie. And so I think that's what kind of pointed me in that direction. I was like, okay, I think I could do that. Like, that seems pretty cool, like to advocate for a lot of people and people who couldn't, on their own. And so I just I fell in love with that, and I interned and did a lot of things. And so in my internships, I had diverse things that I've experienced, as far as I interned with the bankruptcy court. It was like a bankruptcy firm, and I didn't really like it much. And then I did some internships with the probation division in my area back at home, and it was cool, and I thought I really could do this. I could see myself doing this, but I knew I wanted to do something that would ultimately be able to, when you reap into something, that you would sow it. Like, in a sense of, I don't care what anybody thinks, honestly. Like, people talk about wanting to do something for a genuine desire, and I believe that that's true. That's good. You definitely have to have some kind of desire to do something. But at the same time, I was looking at it on a perspective, like, financially, okay? You spend your undergrad, and for me, I went and got my master's, and then now I'm doing this as a third degree, and my whole journey has been leading up to wanting to do law school. I want to be able to pay back my loans. I want to be able to make a good, decent living and a better lifestyle for me that my parents wasn't able to afford me. But, we made it by. But I just want to be able to have a better, outlook as far as my future family, and a better lifestyle for me. And so you work hard. I believe in working hard and definitely reaping the joys of all your hard work later on. So to me, going into this career field, I felt like it was secure. I thought it was very, it was a great field to work in. People look at you with respect, and it's a very respectful career to me, in my opinion. And so my journey, I made a decision. I prayed about it because I have done it before, and I brought it before God, and I was like, God, if you really want this to happen, I'm going to pray about this, but I'm going to try this one more time, and if it's in your will, then I'm all down for it, and I'm going to go and I'm going to walk the walk faithfully. And so in 2014 was really kind of when I was just like, okay, I'm about to go hardcore studying, even though I was working. And I was grateful to have a job at the time. I was working at in a sales, I want to say a sales company. It was telecommunications, on a corporate side of AT&T, and it was an awesome experience, I must say. Getting out of grad school and coming from the recession, it was definitely something I was grateful for, and I think it helped mold me and kind of build me up a little bit from a mature perspective as to just life in general. So anyway, I would go to work, and then in the evenings, right after work, I would go to Starbucks and I would study my butt off. And initially, my thought process was I was going to study and I would take the exam the following year. I just wanted to give myself time to study, like probably either that fall or something of that sort. Like, I didn't think I was going to do it right away. And then I was talking to a friend of mine, and my friend knows who she is, and if she watches my video, and she was like, what's the difference between like studying and taking the exam now, like for the next upcoming exam, which would have been June, instead of waiting for the following year? And she was like, you're not really wasting time. Like, it would only be time that would be wasted. Like, if it's meant to be, it would happen. And so I was like, you know what, that makes sense. Like, why wouldn't it be possible for me to take this exam in June and still apply for that year? So I'm like, if it's meant to be, why not? The scores come out, and although people are already set in whatever schools, they've kind of picked their selections. But I felt like if it was meant for me to like go into this field, and if it was meant for me to take this journey, that it would just happen. And my place would be secured regardless of whatever the situation would be. And so I did. I decided that I would go ahead and apply for the fall of 2014 semester, even though I had just made the decision to study again back in, that January. And so a lot of the deadlines were really, really close because there were But for the most part, it didn't matter to me because I was just like, okay, I'm gonna apply. And so I really tugged on and hung on to a lot of people that God strategically placed in my life, and I just felt like it was interesting. Like, I really felt like God was along this journey with me because I met great people that, I mean, like, were just selfless. Like, they treated me like they were like family, and they just like would be up late at night working with me as far as like getting my statements together, revising, and all that jazz. And it was just amazing to see how like they were just so willing to help. And so it ended up working out where I was able to submit all my applications in time. And so at that point, I just kind of left it in God's hands, and I continued to study and study and study. And there was a time for the exam day, and I called on my friends, my spiritual friends, my sisters and brothers in Christ, and we prayed. And the day of the exam, I felt amazing. I felt awesome, and I felt really good about it. And so I kind of like walked away, leaving it before God. Prior to actually taking the exam, I had also run into another great mentor of mine who is still a mentor to this day, and she was a blessing in disguise. Like, I met this lady at Starbucks while I was studying, and like, she doesn't know me from a grain of rice. Like, we don't know each other at all. And when I tell you, she has just like been mama bear, like my fairy godmother, like everything rolled up into one. Like, she was amazing. And she knew right from the get-go that I was going to get into school. She knew, like, and it's just interesting how God plays people in your life. And she was a faithful person too, and she was just so motivating and prayerful, and kind of giving me advice about going in, what to expect my first year. Like, that's how far in advance we were kind of talking about things, because she knew like it was gonna happen. And I felt like maybe God was like using her as my angel, so to speak, and right here in real life, to kind of lead me and guide me and get me in the right direction and the right mindset and stuff like that. And so it turned out I got my first acceptance right before the scores came out, and there was a lot of rejections, and I knew that was gonna come, and I was ready for it. And it was disappointing, but I was just like, at the end of the day, I know it wasn't the end, and I know that there was more to it, and I know that God had prepared something for me specially. And so all in all, like, I got my first acceptance, and I was like on running errands, and I literally was in the car, and I literally just started screaming and worshiping all into one. I couldn't believe it. I was just like, oh my gosh, like, this is happening. Like, God, you are starting to open up doors. Like, my scores didn't even come out yet, and you are already opening doors for me. And I was offered a scholarship, and I was just like, on top of that, like, really, God? I've been out of school for what was it, like, I think I had been out of school by about 3 years. So about 3 years out of school. And so basically I was just like, all right, that's amazing, like, right, that's all you got, I know. And so I was faithful that there were other opportunities that were gonna come my way. Now, in my head and my heart of hearts, I knew that I did not want to really move, but I was like, okay, God, if wherever you lead me, I will definitely go. And so I was just like kind of a little stubborn at that point, because I got accepted into a school that wasn't necessarily my dream school at the time. And so I just kind of felt like, okay, God, I'm just waiting to see what else happens. I'm trying to hold my breath, but we're getting close to that point where I need to make moves, and make decisions, quit my job, and all this stuff. And I'm just kind of waiting to see where you're gonna lead me. And so, eventually I ended up having to move, but it was all good because there were people already here, as far as people that I went to school with back at home, people I knew from back at home in Jersey, and to find that they were already here and strategically placed in this particular school that I was going to, I was just like, yo, like, God, I like, that's crazy. Like, we have our own little community. But what was hard about the whole journey was trying to pick up everything and pack, right, and shut down things and close doors in my life that chapters that needed to be closed. Like, I was working with this company for 2 years, and and it was going a little over 2 years, and it was a stressful journey, and this towards the end, and that was because, I just wasn't happy, and I just felt like that wasn't the end for me. And so basically I was really, really ready to leave and move on and to, go on to the next chapter. And I had been trying for a while. When I say trying for a while, I think 6 months into getting that job, I knew it wasn't for me. I knew that I wasn't happy and I wanted something different, and I was like trying since then. Obviously, I've been trying since then to try to find another position, and God was like holding back, and I felt like it was just like he was closing the doors, and he was like, no, I don't want you to move yet. I don't want you to move forward yet. It's not your time. It's not ready. You're not ready. And I would apply for jobs that I knew I was well qualified for, and it just didn't make sense that they weren't calling me back. No interviews, nothing. Like nothing. Like it was dead silence, as if I didn't apply, and I applied to a lot. And so and it was funny how, like, when this whole school stuff came about, it just worked out just like that. And I just felt like, okay, God, you ain't want me to go on to another job, so I didn't get comfortable. So I didn't get comfortable with working, and not, that you were ultimately going to fulfill the dream that I've been praying about for years, which was going to law school and, chasing after that. And you were giving me that opportunity. And I was just so grateful that everything kind of worked out. And it's funny how sometimes we kind of want to push things before their time, but God has an ultimate bigger plan for our lives, in the sense of just the journey. Like he knows when it's right. Probably had I been, given the opportunity to go to school earlier, I probably wouldn't have appreciated. I probably wouldn't have been strong enough to go through the journey. But he allowed me to kind of take some time off and really see if I desired it, and build me on different levels spiritually to get ready for this journey. And so I ultimately ended up making a big move. I had never lived away from home ever. Like, even when I was in college, I always commuted. It was like, 15-20 minutes away from school. And I always lived at home. My parents didn't have to do anything else. Financially, I was just like, yeah, God, I didn't plan to just pick up and move. So I wasn't really financially ready to make such a big move, invest in an apartment, and all the things that come with that, the actual transition, and then pay for school. It was just a lot, at once. But you know what? I was just like, okay, God, you're opening these doors. Something's going to happen. I have to walk by faith, and then if it doesn't work out, then I know that at least I tried and it wasn't right. But I just feel like you're putting all these people in my path. You're speaking through all these people, whether it was going to church or just random people, and it was just they were saying the same message. They were saying the same things, and they were encouraging me to go after my dreams. And it was kind of beautiful. It was kind of chilling too, goosebumps. And so that's why I definitely felt like God was a part of this journey and allowing me to get here. So I made the move to North Carolina. Yeah, I'm in North Carolina now. I have a place of my own, and I've been out here for a couple months now, and it's been an interesting journey, finding peace within myself, having to make decisions, finding a church home, and making new friends, and realizing not everyone is your friend, and learning about studying again. And law school is no joke. And so I definitely needed to have my spiritual foundation together in order to make it through, because there were a lot of people who quit. There were moments when I definitely broke down, because it was just it was mentally challenging, and then that led to physical challenges, and you needed to just be strategic about everything that you were doing. And even no matter regardless of how hard you worked, it didn't mean that you were going to do well, and it didn't mean that it's been an interesting journey. And so I can honestly say God has allowed me to be able to conquer the challenges of law school so far, and I have successfully finished my first semester of my first year of law school. Glory be to God. Honestly, glory be to God. It's just been so amazing. They say that law school, your first year is meant to scare you to death. The second year is meant to work you to death. and the third year is meant to bore you to death. And as far as fear, I was just like, okay, like I just felt like I was being worked to death. That's what I felt like of anything. But then it was a fear factor in it for sure, and I felt like everything was kind of strategically placed around to really have people, I guess, try to figure out whether this is something that they really wanted. Was it worth it? And so for me, like I was like, I can't. So for me, this was definitely something that I knew I wanted for a very long time, and so I just needed to just kind of leave everything. That was just a process of walking by faith. There were a lot of scriptures that I needed to meditate on and worship songs that definitely helped me along the way. Mally music, I think it's called it's by Mally Music, and it's called I'm Walking. And I listened to Andy Mineo, and I would listen to like You Can't Stop Me. And I just knew, like, even in my days of going like en route to go to school, like that would be my motivation. I've had professors who were challenging, who I didn't think really believed in me and wanted to see me succeed and grow. But thankfully I had people that God placed in my life strategically to help me, to motivate me, to push me. I had text messages from friends who cared and family members who checked on me regularly, and it was just a beautiful blessing in disguise. It was just like, you didn't realize who really had your back and how much God was involved in the situation until you were really pressed for a moment. And so even leading to the end of finals, that was the toughest time as well in terms of getting prepared and things like that. And so I haven't gotten the scores back. I don't know how well I did. I don't know how I did really, but at the end of the day, I just leave it all before God, and I know that God has a bigger plan for me, and whatever is He's meant for me to go through, I'm gonna get through it. And I know that this is a journey that He's purposed me to go through, because I wouldn't have made it this far, and I wouldn't have gotten where I am or moved to this state had it not been God putting His hands in this situation. And so I say this and I share this testimony because I've been really wanting to share it for some time, and I will still continue to do my YouTube videos and incorporate that because I still love doing my makeup. But I just wanted to encourage someone else who may have been thinking about something that they've wanted to do for some time, and they felt like maybe it wasn't time, or maybe God has given up on their answer. I say still go before God, still pray about it, and God will reveal it to you. Like He will reveal it to you like it is daylight. Like when you're in church and you're listening to the Word, and He talks to you and speaks to you through the Word, or He sends random people to be a part of your life, or He sends a message in any kind of way. Just be alert and be open to hearing where it's coming from. So just because it didn't happen right away doesn't mean it won't happen. And so I'm learning this patience journey throughout my whole life and every aspect of it. So it began with law school, and I graduated undergraduate in 2009, and so I wanted to go to law school since then. It didn't work out for me right away, and then I ended up going and get my master's and finished that, and I was strategic about that. When I tell you, I said I didn't want to pay extra money, and I knew I was going to go to law school. I knew I was going to go to law school, and so I was like, okay, I'm going to take on as many classes as I can, and I did. So I finished a 2-year program in about 10 months. Through God's will. I was working at the time. I was involved in a lot of extracurricular activities in regards to leadership with choirs and stuff like that in more than one place. And so I just knew that that I wasn't trying to spend extra time and unnecessary money. So, but by that time when I was done with that program, I was pooped. Like I had worn myself out, and so basically I just needed a break, and I knew I couldn't picture myself going back to study, opening up a LSAT book and all that. Like that was just out of the question. So I just was like, okay, let me just explore this other stuff, and maybe, God has a different plan for me, and maybe I might fall in love with communications. Maybe I might do something else, And so I did that for the next 2 years, and I realized within that first 6 months, Nah, it wasn't happening. And so, again, going back since 2008, since I want to say 2005, wanting to, like, my journey had been trying to be strategic in terms of going to law school, and I didn't make it until 2014. So that speaks volumes in terms of God's timing, and He does everything for a reason, and I don't question Him. I don't question the fact that it's taken that long, but I'm very grateful, and I believe that my journey would definitely inspire someone else who may be thinking about something and and you may think it's too late. And I just encourage you to go before God and seek His approval, and once you get it, just walk by faith, even when you don't think doors will open up, where you don't think it's possible, as far as like either whether it be financially or like I literally quit work 2 weeks before I moved here. Like, that's how fast things moved. And I had a great support system. My mom, my father, my family back at home, my sister, my brothers, everybody was so encouraging and so ready and willing to help. They drove me up here, sat me, like, got me settled in, left, and and then that's where God kind of took on everything, and like I was able to find an apartment right away, and it's it's a nice quaint place, and financial assistance and all that stuff kind of came into play later on. My scholarship came in through okay, and I didn't have to worry about my classes being on hold or being able to purchase books. Like, things worked out. Like, God worked it out. God worked it out. And so again, this is the reason why I'm sharing my testimony, and I hope that it isn't long. I hope I wasn't rambling. I hope that something in it encouraged you and sparked something in you to chase after something you've been wanting for a long time, or make you get back on your knees and pray for something that you still haven't gotten a real response from in front of God yet. And so, I still got a lot of testimonies to probably share. There's a lot of journeys and a lot of unanswered prayers that I need to, bring before God. And, in terms of my love life, in terms of, my career, like, I will always need God. I will always need and seek Him. And so I want to take you on that journey with me. And so this is the point of me making this video, even though my voice sounds horrible. Me being a part of the YouTube community is to not only share the different aspects of beauty and things like that, but this is a lifestyle channel. Excuse me, it's a lifestyle channel in regards to sharing my journey, my walk, and hoping that it can inspire you. And so, if you want to hear more about different things that I probably didn't get a chance to talk about, if you have questions regarding like the law school process, a little bit more in depth about me making the decision to go, or just general things, just leave them in the comment section below. I'll be more than happy to make a ask, how do you call them, like question video? Ask Earlene, Ask Leanie. And so, I can do that. It's not a problem, because I believe in sharing great things, and even in the bad stuff, like sharing the bad things that lead to great testimonies in the end. So never doubt yourself. Push yourself through, even when people self-doubt you, when people say it won't ever happen, they close the door. There's always, God will always make a way where He wills it. If it's according to His will, it'll happen. Just don't lose the faith, and keep walking by faith, and keep pressing on. So that's the plan. That was the testimony, and I hope to make many more videos for you guys. So stay tuned. I'm gonna keep them coming. I'm gonna get this video out, and we're gonna keep it moving, right? All right. So I love you guys. I hope you have a great holiday season. I know Thanksgiving had just passed. We're about to go into Christmas. Hopefully, I can put up another video before then, and some kind of holiday tutorial. If you want to see anything, like if you have any questions about anything, if you want to see an apartment tour, I think it would be cool. I don't think I have much to really share, but hey, if you want to get inspiration off something, because I love watching those too, just leave that below. And so I'll talk to you next time. So see you later.
Got a made up mind. Even the winter feels like summertime. In the night you see the light of day, 'cause I've been blind for way too long, and you can't take my light away.